right, so the topic du jour probably here today is going to be tariffs. Are you in favor of the tariffs we're seeing being played out right now in Washington, whether they're in, out, up, down, how it's going to play out?
Well, the president's been very clear that we have to stop the flow of fentanyl from over our borders. We all have friends who we've lost from fentanyl. We all know families who have been impacted by this. It's wholly unacceptable, the level of fentanyl that's been coming across the borders. And a part of that, we of course have to secure our borders, which under the past administration, we saw record numbers of people coming across the borders. At the same time, we stay in active communication with our Hoosier business interests, and that includes our manufacturers right here in Elkhart County. They've given us feedback of what things that they'd like to see changed as a part of the overall tariff discussion, and we maintain a great relationship with the administration, and we feed that directly to them. But that at the end of the day, our job in this office is to fight for Hoosiers, represent this district, and make sure that their interests are heard loud and clear in Washington, D.C.
Many of the people in this room, of those we have taken an extremely unscientific poll, have said they do not like the idea of tariffs. That's going to hurt them more, it's going to help them. If anything, it might change the trade imbalance right now the United States currently enjoys with, specifically Indiana enjoys with Canada. How do you convince them that tariffs are in their interest, these business owners in this room?
Well, it's not my job to convince them that tariffs are in their interest. My job is to hear from them, receive their feedback, and make sure that that feedback is carried to Washington, D.C. I flew in from Washington last night. I'll be flying back there for meetings on Monday. And as a part of that, we take the feedback that we receive and we give it to the administration in Washington. It's not my job to convince Hoosiers what's in their interest or not in their interest. It's my job to listen to them.
So what are you telling Washington? What are you specifically telling the Trump administration about tariffs and the impact it'll have on your district?
Well, every time we have a conversation with a manufacturer and they give us a specific instance of where tariffs are helpful to them, in some cases, there are many other cases where tariffs are harmful to them. We gather that feedback and we give it to the administration. There are some cases where they've got parts that they need to import in order to assemble right here in Elkhart County. There are things that are on the water right now that they want to make sure that they can clear into this country without issues. So we take all that feedback and again, we give it to the administration. At the end of the day, it is my job to fight for Hoosiers in Washington, D.C.
I wanted to ask you really quickly as well about one other issue you mentioned fentanyl was the first thing you mentioned. Most of the business done here of the tariffs that will impact is business with Canada. And the latest estimates show that 0.2% of the fentanyl entering the United States come through Canada. Why target Canada specifically with tariffs, mentioning fentanyl as the primary reason?
Any fentanyl coming in from any country is far too much.
But is it worth 25% tariff?
We had in 2023, 75 or so thousand people in this country die from fentanyl, including many people right here in Elkhart County. As I've traveled Indiana's 2nd District and met with law enforcement officials, every law enforcement official is dealing with this. I have yet to meet a person in this district who has not experienced the loss of a friend from fentanyl. It's one of the biggest issues of our time, and it's affecting sort of the leading cause of death of young people ages 18 through 49. And so we have to get it under control, and we have to do whatever it takes to get that under control.
But you have,
Thank you,
you have it.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the WSBT 22 YouTube channel.